Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that pullback that we're seeing on the charts. Everything bleeding just a little bit red. We do have a couple things popping off like a good old mask over here, ACH, but pretty much everything in the red, as we did have rumors that the Federal Reserve might increase interest rates more than 25 basis points. And so that was making the rounds in the financial circles and getting everybody a little bit up in a tizzy. Additionally, we had news about other countries around the world, what their policies may be, and so all of this just added to a little bit of an uncertainty. Guys, I think I'm just going to jump straight to the charts because, as you can see, tomorrow we really just have the consumer confidence index that we're going to be looking forward to. Maybe the employment cost index should be something that we should pay attention to. Hopefully it goes down. Hopefully consumer confidence goes up. But the main event is going to be on Wednesday, February 1st, when Jerome Powell will have his news conference to let us know what his little council there over at the Federal Reserve has decided for the interest rate increases, and then we'll actually know what's going to happen and which direction this market is going to take, because of course 50 basis points is probably going to slap us down, 25 basis points is going to be pretty neutral, and then there's going to be that little sneaky back doorway of tanking the market, which is if they increase the terminal limit on these rates. Guys, let's jump over to Bitcoin on the daily. You can see that we are just having a little bit of a pullback here, and of course that just made everybody just super freak out. But look, we're catching a little bit of support already, and so everybody was thinking we're gonna dump to hell, we're gonna dump to hell, and I mean, I guess we could. That was a pretty sizable volume of red there, but and it was an engulfing candle, and maybe we just bounce back up to this kind of $23,000 area, and then we continue to kill over. That wouldn't be atypical of these sort of things, but especially after this type of a monster run here. But we should keep just some levels in perspective as to what we might be looking for, and for that I have marked out our new daily levels. As you can see, Bitcoin is really just down here. Let me turn off the notes there. You can see just this little tiny candle. So the day is just begun, and we do have 21 hours left in that. We are holding on to the current momentum. So we did lose the levels that I suggested yesterday, and we did take just an awful plummet. Now, we did close the candle above the levels that I suggested, but we didn't close the next candle above it, okay? So that's a key point. We didn't close the next candle above it. Okay, we didn't, do anything interesting except basically wick above the key levels, and then we lost that area. And when we lost it, we just got the legs kicked out from underneath us. That's the whole point of the momentum, threshold lines that I give out here, guys. I mean, some people like to give thumbs down. Some people, make kind of rude comments about it. But to be honest, if you paid attention to what I was showing, it was pretty clear. I think I might have the old one on there. Let's see here. Yep. What you can see is that we did have the daily pivot all the way up here, and yes, the previous day we did close the candle up there kind of exuberantly, but in our pullback we never actually closed the candle above it in terms of this move on the way down. So one candle wasn't formed above the daily pivot, and sure enough, what happens when you don't have the daily pivot? Well, if we have any volatility in the markets, for example, those rumors or whatever causing volatility, then bias is going to be to the downside, and that just killed us right down here. And you can see that we ended up closing beneath our current momentum, beneath our additive and subtractive momentum for the day, which did threaten to just continue us downwards. But luckily, we had the support in this area. So that's really what caught us in saving the day. Now, are we going to do a bearish retest of these levels up here around 23,000-ish? Yeah, I mean, that could be what's happening right now. But of course, that day is over. So we have new momentum levels for a new day. And this is just an incredibly Large momentum pool today, guys. So not sure what to say about that. I had to double check it myself, but the math checks out. And essentially, we do have to get above 25,222 in order to, basically continue to have momentum in an upward direction. And guys, our daily volatility pivot is here at 23,459. So still a hurdle to get there. And, we could bounce up, like I said, test that $23,000 area, basically retest the volatility pivot for this new day, and then we could still continue to crash down. We do have our current hold momentum at 22,836. So as long as we're above that level, you know, no big deal. But, we did lose a little bit of space here. However, look, we basically just tapped this liquidity, and if we continue to go and even beat 25,000, I wouldn't be surprised the way that this chart has been performing for maybe one final thrust up before we start butting our heads into all of those EMAs on the higher time frames like the weekly and whatnot. But guys, you can see that we are just narrowly avoiding a squeeze here on our EMAs, and we are in that little space between the 4 and the 9, which could allow us to just skirt to the upside without actually being thrown down to the 21 EMA on the daily here, down to maybe $22,000 area, $21,000 area where we have the 200 daily EMA and the 21 daily EMA. Guys, that's enough for the daily there. Let's go ahead and check out the 2-day projection, because the 2-day projections here, it does give us a little bit more interesting perspective in that we are on top of the 2-day momentum pool, and so that's not terrible. We aren't above the volatility pivot, so that's not great. But the volatility pivot is at 23,488, which, hey, that sounds familiar. Yeah, that's also the volatility pivot there on the daily. And so the 2-day doesn't really give us more flexibility to get above that volatility point. We really do have to take out that 23,488 if we want to continue our way on the upside. That's just going to be very critical for most of that to capture that volatility. Basically flip, okay? Because we've used up all of our volatility to the upside, from a volatility trading perspective. And now it's time to kind of cool off, and cooling off could mean a retracement or just going sideways. So far it's been sideways, but people are panicking anyway. We are holding our current hold level for the 2-day at 22,836. We don't really lose any significant amounts of momentum until we're under 22,247, which is pretty confluent with that 9 EMA on the 2-day right there. And so, I like using the 2-day. It's a pretty relaxing and chill, time frame to be trading on. A lot of people trade on the daily, but the 2-day kind of is that sweet spot for me. Some people use the 3-day, and a lot of these crypto charts work on the 3-day. The 3-day also closed earlier this afternoon, but I find that the 2-day is pretty good for me. That's kind of a sweet spot. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-day. And oh, by the way, we should mention that on the 2-day we do have that 200 2-day EMA right above us at 25,862, which is a huge difference compared to the daily. But hey, that number sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because if I put on the those daily levels, look, the additive and subtractive momentum is at 25,222. So that's interesting. The daily has confluence with the 2-day in terms of that 200-day EMA. And so if we can kind of flip that area, the 2-day would be looking quite confident, and maybe we could get a pop up in that area and even conquer it. I don't know. That would be a disbelief rally for sure. Lots of people would be in disbelief if that sort of thing happened. But yeah, let's pop over to the 5-day because the 5-day did close this afternoon. And so what do we have to beat for the next 5 days? Well, for the next 5 days, we do have to hang on to this current momentum level at 22,836, a number that we've seen before. We are above the momentum pool for now on the 5-day. So again, it looks pretty good, you know? I mean, like we're literally at the top of the momentum pool level here, and that should be the space between the two green lines that I always mark out. And that momentum area, you know, if we're inside of that, we just go sideways, but on top of it, things are looking bullish. I can't be bearish. So for the 5-day, our chart looks perfectly bullish. I have no problems with this whatsoever. On top of the 21, on top of the 9, on top of the 4 EMA, everything looks great. We look like we're having a little bit of a squeeze here with the 50, and you know, that could be what ends up popping us to the upside, or it could be what ends up rejecting us down. So that 50 is probably what we're battling here on the 5-day as we go into this close. But we are going to lose our general continuation if we do drop below 19,859, where we are significantly far away from. So I don't really have much of a fear about that. And our volatility pivot is all the way down here at 18,482, which means that even if we do have a deep retracement into this momentum pool and just chop around for a while or just have a strong pullback, as long as we're above 18,482, things still look decent as long as we can get above that $19,000 area as fast as possible. What I basically mean is we could wick down there, tap that volatility pivot, and then just continue on our way, having freaked everyone out. Right, to the upside and to the downside. But currently, again, we're just going sideways at the top here, so can't really talk about deep retracements unless something weird happens in the market, and that's just not happening yet. Guys, the monthly is closing tomorrow, so I already showed you this before, but just to remember the levels that we have to beat here. Honestly, it's the 23,372 for that kind of general continuation, getting above this monthly 50. We failed to do that, but we are postured to be able to do that, being above the. Pardon me. That was the 5-day, but it's in the same place as the monthly 50, and that's also the monthly 9 EMA, right? So if we get above that monthly 9 EMA, that's going to suggest possible continuation up to the 21, maybe the 35 here, around that $27,000. But we can basically say that we have additive and subtractive momentum at 26,282. So that would be a level to check out. But you know, things look possible for us to do this. You know, we have these EMAs going sideways on the month. We have the 4 pointed almost straight up here, and you know, if we can just squeeze through this and get another candle, it's just going to be an incredible thing that we're going to be able to accomplish. However, you know, if we are going to get a rejection, getting rejected under 23,372 is not going to be a good look. Okay, that's going to just carry us back down, maybe down to this 4 area, the $20,000 level. You can see the top of the candles over here. You can see the wicks, right? It could push us back down into this area. You can see the 4 EMA on the monthly here. So all of this stuff is in that $20,000 area. That could just pop us down there. And then maybe we try again, right? So, you know, we won't have busted anything. And we do have our volatility pivot all the way down at 17,940. So that does suggest that on a monthly basis, if you're trading on the monthly, you know, we do have a lot of flexibility in this chart, but we are not doing what we need to do to continue, despite how impressive this candle is. We are not yet doing what we need to do to get to the next level. In fact, we're getting a little bit of resistance there, but the longer that we just kind of hold here and go sideways, if we enter the new month bullish, then this thing could just suddenly pop up on us. And again, we could have that kind of disbelief rally, and then maybe we go sideways and then even continue to pop, right? If you look at the monthly, it looks pretty good, and I've mentioned this before, but we do have you know, bullish divergence from this low over here to this low over here, and you know, basically that's the stuff that can cause bull markets. Okay, now this wick on the virus era, that does cause some confusion. Some people don't readily see this as a high and this as a low, but they absolutely are on the RSI. And so taking it from the low to the next low, we do have a hidden bullish divergence. And so that's what this pop is about, and that's what could take us on a longer run. Of course, that would take months to play out. I'm not talking about overnight. We're talking about the monthly setup right now. Okay, so there's obviously going to take a lot of time for those things to play out and continue bullish. Should we continue bullish? Again, we're not above that 23,372 level, and we need to close in the next 21 hours above that area, or at least hang out and chill in this area. Hopefully try to take out these candles over here in order to just look more impressive and kind of get that interest, right? Guys, I'm just gonna close there. We can talk more about the monthly closure tomorrow when it actually happens, but just wanted to kind of give you the setup on that. Let's go ahead and jump over to ADA. ADA is one that we really haven't taken a look at in a while, but again, we had just like really super excellent entries on it. And so again, like this was my spot to enter right over here, this teal box. And so Alpha Fam, I've had that there for a long time. If you bought there, congratulations. You guys are absolutely killing it, right? I mean, this could be the Pico bottom on ADA. You're probably already up 47% or whatnot. So you guys are doing fantastic. But let's go ahead and just let's first of all take off that 5-day. And let's put on the daily so that we can see what's going on with ADA as we've come from these levels, gotten through the breakout of that macro downtrend, and then here we go with the latest alpha momentum pool, and our candle is just right down here, just like Bitcoin. ADA is basically being a mini Bitcoin, and you can see that it is just barely skirting above the hold current momentum level. So guys, these levels are no joke. Don't fade the alpha momentum strategy, but you can see that our holding the current momentum level is here at 37 cents essentially. We are about 37.3 cents, and so ADA is trying to hold on for dear life on the daily here, but the volatility pivot is above us at 38.7 cents, so ADA should need to pop and conquer above, let's just say 39 cents, and in that area you'll get general continuation bias, which will suggest that we could perhaps even try for 41 cents, 40 cents, and getting above that, then we can talk about some pretty major moves on ADA. And we've seen this in the past happen. We were trading this area over here, getting huge moves when we were above 40, and underneath 40, I just wasn't interested. So again, like we are in a good spot for ADA. Should we be able to get over that 40 level on the daily? Guys, let's take a look at ADA on the 2-day. And on the 2-day, we can see that we do have pretty much the same thing going on. The volatility pivot here is at 40 cents basically, and we are above the 2-day momentum pool, which does suggest that we have, that support underneath us and that our momentum isn't going to be lost if we do have a pullback here. So over the next couple days, we do have a little area, a little bit of a buffer, essentially down to 36 cents, and we do want to hold above this current 37-cent area, and then of course we want to get above that volatility pivot so that if there's any volatility in this market, it has a bias to the upside. Well, we've already discussed that, so let's move on to the 5-day. And the 5-day, same deal. Got to hold above this 37, and there's a deep pool that we could retrace on the 5-day, so we could get stuck in that. Okay, so again, holding 37, very critical for ADA. But in terms of the 5-day chart, guys, we're above the 5-day momentum pool, so everything looks good. And the volatility pivot on the 5-day is at 29 cents. So bias is to the upside on those 5-day charts, guys. So, if you're trading the daily, it's a little bit sketch, but you're trading the 2-day or the 5-day, things actually look pretty okay. I'm not too worried yet, and we can do updates later. Guys, let's jump over to Aptos, something that a lot of people are looking at. Um, a lot these days. I did try my best here. There's not much data to go by, so this is very shallow, very new chart, so there's not much to go by here, but doing my best for these momentum lines, and you can see that we are underneath the hold current momentum level. So compared to the other coins that we've been reviewing, Aptos is not holding the level that it needs to hold. It's trying, but I can almost feel it dropping. So just be careful with this one. We also see a little bit of a technical double top up here with this little wick, and it is, it did break this low here, so this thing could be dangerous position for a retrace, maybe into this $13 area, but not going to do too much analysis on that one. I do have, some type of support and resistance areas, like this kind of 1334. I think I have anti-origin lines. Let's see, put it on a log scale. Yeah, so we could suggest, yeah, maybe 1340, right? Something like that, even as deep as 11. But I'm not sure that I would necessarily short this one just yet because it's so bullish. Okay, it's so new and so bullish. We just don't know what its behavior is. But yeah, that kind of 1350 area is somewhere that I would think, it could get some support, a little bit of a bounce, and then we could, take it from there. But yeah, just gonna kind of back off from that one a bit. It's just still too new. Very excitable coin. It's been hyper valued and maybe for good reasons. It reminds me a little bit of what Sol was doing when Solana first was going, but we have a lot of market time to take a look at that. So, would rather wait for a deep retrace before I get too involved with this one emotionally. You know what I mean? Just let it form some chart. Let it put some knowledge on the chart that we can trade from, because this is very thin. If you look to it's very thin here on the left. Very hard to figure out what to do with this. Unlike other coins that have months or even years. Okay, we literally just have like days basically. Let's go ahead and jump to the 2-day, which is going to be even worse to try to figure out, but I did do my best. So for those of you who are Aptos lovers, you can see that we are above the momentum pool for the 2-day, which is what's giving us that little bit of support, and we are just hanging on by the skin of our teeth there. 17,132 is the magic level to hold on to, and we will lose significant momentum underneath $15 essentially. Let's jump over to the 5-day. And the 5-day, basically, this is just a huge projection, okay? I think we're going to get into the bullish control zone should we get above $23.45, okay? I wouldn't go long on this unless we were above 23.45 because it would re-enter the bullish control zone on the 5-day. And, I really wouldn't be bearish on this one until we're under 1657-ish. Um, just on a projection. I don't have enough data to actually fill out this 5-day chart, but the 5-day did close for it. So there you go. That's your 5-day level. The good thing about the 5 days, the volatility pivot is down here at $9. So that does suggest even if we go all the way down, tap $9, probably we're still going to have a bias to the upside. So this thing isn't going to break all the way down necessarily. Just maybe tap $9, something like that. $10, $13 in that area. It's all fair game. Okay, we got this candle over here. So yeah, it's just too new of a coin, but I did want to start to get a feel for Aptos because I feel like it's going to be one of those coins that's going to have a big narrative in the next cycle. Let's see, what's Bitcoin doing right now? Doing pretty good actually, 22.9. Okay, we were at 22.6 just a while ago. So let's take a look at Doge, and Doge on the daily. We can see here that Let's just make sure I have the right one on. Yep, the daily. Okay, so Doge actually did something quite remarkable. When I was making this, it was all the way down here, and it's already pumped a lot. So I am still in Doge, and I'm not underwater at all compared to a lot of coins. So this thing, has just been performing. It does have a little bit of a rising wedge here, which would suggest that it may break down, perhaps, to this kind of area down here, maybe, 8 cents or whatnot, should it break down. But if it pops up above that, it's going to be very bullish. So just not sure what's going to happen with the Doge, but it is performing pretty good. Just going sideways, but still pushing up. So just kind of melting up right now. But again, just watch out for that rising wedge. Okay. We do need to see it pop above this 9.5 cents. You know, that's going to put it in a much stronger position where it won't necessarily break down. Let's see, the volatility pivot for it on the day is at around 8.7 cents. We do have, we did pop off the top of my momentum pool, which is quite nice, at 8.8 cents, which is also our general continuation. So yeah, looking good, Doge. I mean, don't lose 8.8 cents, don't lose 8.7 cents, and it's probably still gravy on the daily. It's going over to the 2-day, which did just close with the daily, and same thing, just popped off of the momentum pool, which was confluent with the daily and the 2-day, and then of course 8.9 is the volatility pivot here. So Doge, it is important that you keep above 8.9 in the next 2 days, and we really don't want to lose 8.4, or we could have significantly deeper retrace. Guys, let's take a look at the 5-day for Doge, and the 5-day for Doge, another confluent area of the momentum pool. The momentum pools don't always line up this way on every time frame, but they are for Doge here. And wow, the volatility pivot is all the way down at 7 cents, so Doge has a long way to retrace before anything really breaks. The 5-day is just going to be just fine, but it could take a while to work its way back up if we do lose that kind of 8.4 cent area. So we do want to hang on to that. Taking a look at our EMAs, it just looks great. Okay, so let's look at the daily EMAs for that one. Still looks great. Okay, so Doge still looking healthy. Again, just watch out for this rising wedge. Just sometimes they're a little bit tricky. It could have like a flash down and then pop back up, right? Something like that often happens with these things. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Polkadot. Okay, guys, this dot over here, looking a little bit like Sol, how it has this diagonal that it's kind of retesting here. And I did not draw that diagonal recently, so that thing has been up there. Is that on the log? Yeah, that was on the log. Just kind of a rough estimate. It must have been a while ago, maybe before this price action was put in. But yeah, we are just kind of retesting that thing. And yeah, perfectly. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird little area. But yeah, there is some type of a through line here that is getting tested almost, precisely. Really hard to say exactly how to line it up with all this chop. But yeah, I mean, again, that line's not that significant to me. Just the fact that we did breach it, and then we retested it here on the underside, we retested it here on the overside. To me, that's bullish, okay? And we're just kind of consolidating underneath the 200 EMA on the daily. You can see that we are above our hold current momentum, so this is just kind of a pullback at this point, and we do need to get above 656, and then the bias will be again to the upside. And a break-in 687, we should get an additional boost of momentum that could give us a nice candle should we conquer that volatility first. So that's a dot on the daily there. Dot on the 2-day, we can see that, again, we're above the 2-day momentum pool. In this case, we need to get above, where's my price label? There we go. We need to get above 654 in order to have that bias to the upside. So in the next couple days, DOT does need to perform. Okay, let's see. On the 5-day, pretty much the same as the other guys, except the volatility is way low at 470, which gives us a huge buffer on the 5-day. And we're sitting on top of the momentum pool, which is a good thing. It does suggest that we could continue to go. Sometimes we do lose it, and we just swim sideways. But we really wouldn't want to lose that 580, basically this through line here. But we are in a pretty good spot right here, again above 619 for this 5-day alpha momentum pool. Should hold our momentum to the upside. And even if we lose it on the 5-day, we have a lot of buffer room. Let's go ahead and go over to Ethereum. For Ethereum on the daily, well, this thing basically failed to hold general continuation, and it did lose it in a dramatic fashion. It did catch itself on the daily 21 EMA, which is nice. And now we're holding our current momentum level pretty squarely at the 1566. We do want to reconquer 1635 in order to have a chance at that continuation to the upside, 1645, and then we'll have additional momentum at 1714, where we could get a nice pop off of this volatility pivot. So yeah, if we can get up there, that's a tradable long on ETH, in my opinion. I do like these setups, assuming that we're able to cross the pool. We are kind of drowning at the bottom of the pool right now. So again, 1566, we don't want to lose that. We're at 1572. So we are doing what we need to do, but and we can just squeeze our way up here. But we again lose 1566, and it's probably game over, man. Right, game over. Let's see here. Let's go to the 2-day. The 2-day is probably going to look pretty similar. You can see just how thin the alpha momentum pool is here, suggesting that 1568, 1566, super critical level for the next couple days if you want to squeeze to the upside. And we do have to conquer, in this case, 1646. So where other coins sometimes are giving us more flexibility, this one's giving us a very thin line to walk here. It's saying, yeah, do or die in the next 2 days, okay? Like, it's time, right? It's time. So you got to get above 1646 in order to have that bias to the upside. But again, it could give us a nice pop. So these things could just squeeze, but it can also squeeze down, so just be careful. We are underneath the volatility pivot, so bias is to the downside on the 2-day until we get above 1646. But I bet the 5-day has something else to say, which is that, yeah, even if we do squeeze down, there's lots of stuff here to catch us around this 1430, 1415 area. 1566 is giving us support right now. The alpha momentum pool could just be sideways in that area, and then above 1355, our bias is going to be to the upside over the 5-day period there. And just go to the 5-day chart to see what the EMAs look like. We do have the 200 EMA at 1765. This could be a little resistant area up here, on a diagonals basis from these EMAs. But then we start to get to some interesting spots on ETH where we could start seeing some nice movement, assuming that we hold this current level and are able to push on those lower timeframes. Let's go ahead and go to Litecoin. And Litecoin on the daily, this thing just continues to perform. And let's see if I can get a nice frame of view there. There we go. You can see that we are above the momentum pool right now. We are above the everything. So, we're actually adding momentum here. It may look like we're coming down, but this thing could pop up if it continues to hold above 93.57. If we do lose 90.8, then I would be worried that volatility could take us to the downside, okay? But as we are right now, bullishly postured on the daily. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2-day. The 2-day does have the same picture except for volatility here, which is our momentum is good, but our volatility is bad here. So this is really what's going to suppress us. So I would say 94.76 is really a critical level to take out, okay? If you want to capture that volatility that could pop us up. Otherwise, we're just in danger of being shot back down. So we do need to get above 94.76. For the 5-day, it's a different picture here where although the volatility pivot is incredibly high, for these other coins, sometimes we saw the volatility pivot was like really low, giving us a lot of buffer room. In the case of Litecoin, the volatility pivot is here at 91.52. So, we do need to hang on to that level, at least for this 5-day period. But our momentum is still really good, anywhere above 84.58. But again, I strongly prefer to be above the volatility pivots, especially in these volatile times, okay, when the Fed and all that is coming out. And we're there right now. It's just this is much closer to our current price action than a lot of other coins on the 5-day, okay? So let's see, why would that be? Because if we lose that level, we are basically going to squeeze down to the 9. That's why. Let's see. And that'll get us underneath the 89. Just kind of a chain reaction. Let's see here. Let's go over and take a look at MATIC. I am trying to throw just a bunch of these coins at you so that you do have key levels for all of these, top coins here. Let's go to the daily. And we can see that similar to some of these other coins, Matic is just holding on to the hold current momentum. In fact, I think only Aptos is failing us in that regard. But, Polygon, Matic is holding on above 108. It's going to just have the potential to squeeze to the upside. It could melt faces. It could catch people by surprise. And you see this little formation here where we like dumped, then we held on to a level, and then popped up, and then we dumped back again, right? Like this could repeat itself, okay? Like we could get another one of these type of things. And I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily be expecting that because they might be trying to short preemptively. But, with Jerome Powell, we could have some volatility up and down, this sort of thing. So I am looking with kind of squinting eyes at this Matic chart, kind of showing us what happens in the past. And a lot of these charts have a very similar setup over here. So I'm thinking something like this could happen on a lot of the charts. But it remains to be seen. They do have to hold those current, momentum levels that I set out for you guys, and that's why should be so helpful, and why the Alpha Fam is just killing it because you can see where we're going to lose that critical momentum. And again, you can use your EMAs and just keep it simple. But I like to have specific numbers which can be calculated out of different and various momentum, indicators, momentum oscillators, in order to just have some confluence with the EMAs, which they do rewrite. Okay, so if a new candle is printed, the EMAs move slightly. Okay, but these lines are holding pretty tight. The only one that can move is the volatility pivot, depending on how much volatility is going on in the day. The other ones are fixed calculations. Okay. So that's why they're a great complement to the EMAs. And volatility measures something else. While EMAs and my alpha momentum system here, they measure momentum, but volatility measures obviously volatility. And then we talk about the price action, right? So obviously this is a higher low. So this looks bullish, guys. As long as we can hold this level, it's still bullish. And what we need to do to have that bias to the upside is get above 1.17 cents essentially for MATIC on the daily. Let's take a look at the 2-day. For the 2-day, again, we're above the momentum pool. It just looks really great. We're above the 200 2-day EMA, just kind of retested it. And again, we could get flung up. And as long as we get above $1.13 in the next 2-day period, then we do have that chance to continue to pop up. Otherwise, if we don't get it, if we just tag that area, kind of wick above it, maybe even drop back down, then we could end up having another one of these kind of like little M shapes, right? And then maybe pop up or break down. Just going to be a little bit confusing for everybody. But again, above $1.09 essentially, it looks pretty good. But strongly prefer to be above $1.13 just in case we have volatility. Let's see, 5-day. 5-day looks very good. seems to, my momentum pool seems to have shifted here on me. But that's why I have the green lines as well. So let's see, if we hold above $1.09, yep, everything looks great. Volatility pivot all the way down here at 82 cents. So yeah, just looking good. Pull back to 95-cent area, no big deal. Got the 9 there, got the 21. No big deal on MATIC. Even if we do have a pullback, it's just going to still look pretty bullish in this structure, at least on the 5-day, okay? Guys, let's move on from MATIC. Let's take a look at Sol. And Sol, again, guys, I was telling you, like, we had this falling channel, and we were just tagging all these areas, and yeah, we did it. Look, we took out, we did a retest of the channel that I had marked out here. And, I had drawn this out for the Discord and the groups and that sort of thing. And it just played out every single level. It played out just perfectly. So, quite proud of how, look at this, look how beautifully Sol respected my levels. Let's turn off these EMAs. Just look at this. Boom, right? Boom, boom, right? This one blasted through that one, but came back to retest it. Boom, and then obviously had tested this before. Boom, 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 and again just a boom right at the top here, trying to figure out what to do next. A little bit of exuberance, came back to retest, and holding that current momentum level at 23.96. We do have to get above 25.46 to have a bias to the upside. Turn those EMAs back on. UGCR 200 is up here at 30 bucks, and our additive momentum at 26.87. So those are the levels that you're going to be looking for: 25.46 and 27.87. And then we don't want to lose 23.96, or we're in danger of getting squeezed back into this channel and then potentially all the way back to the bottom of it. Not sure that'll happen. This thing's been pretty bullish, but yep, those are your key levels for the dailies. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2-day just to see if there's any argument here. And nope, just like these other assets, they are above the alpha momentum pool on the 2-day, which is great. Okay, it gives you a little bit of extra flexibility. Even if the day fails us, the 2-day could catch us. The only problem is these 2 days do have high volatility pivots. So again, that 25.52-ish area, that's going to be super important to take out, okay? Because we want to capture that volatility to the upside. We don't want volatility to be above us and then just shove us down. Okay, even if we have all of our momentum. Let's see, 5-day, because momentum can turn around, right? Momentum just means, the direction, right, basically. And that can get turned around if we're under the volatility pivot. But you do see on the 5-day that our volatility pivot is all the way down at $12. So, on the longer time frames, yeah, I'm biased to the upside on this asset. It could come all the way down to 12 bucks, and still, I would say it has a bias to the upside in the long term. Nothing would get broken there. And we do lose significant momentum under 1583, but we're holding that level at 2396, so it looks good. Look, we're above the 4 on the 5-day, so that's super, delicious. You want this. You want to see this pop up. Okay, I mean, these EMAs are a little bit pointed down, a little bit too down for my taste there. So some sideways and then possibly up, or sideways and then a deeper retracement and then up maybe, but still looks good. This thing is super slanted, so a little bit of a deeper retrace could be possible, and then just maybe melt faces again. I don't know, but it's doing what it needs to do, guys. That's all I can tell you. And I do believe I've run through the major coins, and so I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like this sort of thing, please give a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and then let me know if there's any coins that you'd like me to review. I do like to touch on these major coins every once in a while. Obviously, I threw in Aptos there. Maybe there's something you want me to take a look at, so go ahead and leave it in the comments, or you can take a look at the description of this video and sign up for the group discussion forum at the Discord there, and it's free, so you're welcome to join. Guys, that was your alpha for the day. Stay safe. Thank you for subscribing and supporting this channel, and happy trading, guys.